In my case, they don't know, and I don't tell them. They only know when you go to André and his orchestra, you will have an evening you will never forget.
At 75, André Rieu has built an empire of music, joy, and unforgettable concerts. But behind the glittering stage lights and sold-out arenas lies a story he's never fully told. Until now. In a rare, emotional moment, the King of Waltz opens up about the woman who changed everything. Not a duet partner, not a fan, but the quiet force behind his greatest triumphs and deepest healing. After decades of silence, André finally confesses the truth about the love of his life. And it's more powerful than any waltz he's ever played. This is the story you were never meant to hear. André Rieu was born in Maastricht, Netherlands, in 1949. He was the third of 6 children in a family where music reigned, but affection didn't. His father, the conductor of the Maastricht Symphony Orchestra, ruled the household like a military camp. Hugs were rare. Laughter was discouraged. Love, André once said, was something he never truly felt from his parents. That emptiness shaped him, fueled him. It gave him the hunger to create something that would one day bring joy to millions. And at 5 years old, that transformation began. Not through theory or discipline, but through a crush. His violin teacher was 18, blonde, and captivating. André didn't care about sheet music. He just wanted to mimic her sound, her grace, her emotion. And in that emotion, he found his path. As he matured, André's love for the waltz clashed violently with his father's vision of strict, formal classical music. When he declared his dream to play waltzes professionally, his father coldly rejected him. "I didn't educate you for waltzes," he snapped. That day, André walked out, not just from the house, but from the oppressive expectations that had ruled his childhood. His parents never attended a single concert, not even when André was selling out stadiums worldwide. When his father died, they had still never reconciled. But André didn't stop. He formed a small salon orchestra, playing forgotten waltzes at weddings and town halls. It wasn't glamorous, but it was magic. One night, performing for a dying woman, André watched her open her eyes for the first time in days. That moment changed him. It wasn't about notes anymore. It was about feeling. In 1987, he risked it all to start the Johann Strauss Orchestra. 12 musicians, modest crowds, bold dreams. Critics laughed. The classical world scoffed. But audiences loved it. They smiled. They clapped. They danced. And then, in 1995, everything changed. At halftime during the UEFA Champions League final in Vienna, André and his orchestra played Waltz Number, 2 inches to a stadium of 50,000 football fans. Cameras beamed the moment to 300 million viewers. Overnight, André became a household name. His album sold over 200,000 copies in weeks, and the classical world could no longer ignore him. But while fans danced, critics raged. They called it musical pornography. They mocked the elaborate costumes, the ice rinks, the fountains, the replica of Vienna's Schönbrunn Palace, which cost over 34 million euros. But André didn't care. He wasn't making music for critics. He was making it for everyone. André Rieu wasn't just a classical musician. He was a global sensation. His albums routinely outsold industry giants like Celine Dion and Bon Jovi. His concert DVDs rivaled rock legends like Pink and AC/DC on the charts. Stadiums packed out wherever he played. From Australia to Europe, fans danced in the aisles to the joyful rhythms of his orchestra. But behind the scenes, the man who brought so much happiness to the world was quietly pushing his body to the brink. In 2010, during what should have been a restful vacation in Belgium, André was shaken awake at 3 a.m. by a terrifying sensation. The room was spinning. Disoriented, nauseous, and scared, he would later be diagnosed with vestibular neuritis, a condition that affects balance and coordination. For a performer who lived on stage, the diagnosis felt like a death sentence. For the first time in his career, André had no choice but to cancel tours. Months of recovery followed. He returned, determined to carry on. But the warning signs had been given. Then, in 2016, another devastating blow struck. Ruud Merckx, his trusted trombonist of over 20 years and a beloved member of the Johann Strauss Orchestra, died suddenly in his sleep during a UK tour. André was heartbroken. The orchestra wasn't just his team, they were his family. He immediately canceled the rest of the tour and flew home. The grief ran deep, but still, André came back. Until Mexico, 2024. After only 2 performances in Mexico City, everything stopped. The altitude, the jet lag, a brutal flu. Even his healthiest crew members suffered. But for André, it was overwhelming. Feverish and exhausted, he turned to his wife and whispered the words he never thought he'd say, "I can't do this anymore." 40,000 fans were sent home. The rest of the tour was canceled. For the first time, his son Pierre stepped into the spotlight, not as a producer, but as the protector. He announced that his father was facing serious health problems. This wasn't just exhaustion. This was different. This was serious. A quiet shift is taking place behind the grandeur of André Rieu's stage, one that suggests the final act may be approaching. The once unstoppable maestro is no longer traversing the globe on grueling back-to-back tours. The long-haul flights, jet lag, and exhausting schedules that once defined his year have been replaced with something gentler. Concerts are now held close to home, in Maastricht, the city where it all began. His sanctuary, a place where he can rest between shows, surrounded by family, memories, and the empire he built with his own hands. Public appearances are being quietly removed from the calendar. Media interviews have been canceled. International tours, once the heartbeat of his life, have been placed on indefinite hold. These aren't temporary breaks. These are careful decisions, made with love and caution by someone who knows him best. His son, Pierre, has now taken the reins. More than a manager, he has become the protector of the Rieu legacy and of his father's life. Behind the scenes, Pierre is reworking the business, shielding André from the pressures he once embraced and guiding him toward a slower, safer future. This isn't about contracts or ticket sales anymore. It's about preserving the man who gave everything to his music. And still, André plays. In 2025, he gave fans something extraordinary. The dream continues, a cinematic journey that blended concert magic with behind-the-scenes reflection. It was his way of saying, "I'm still here." But whispers of a serious diagnosis persist. Fans have noticed the tremors in his hands, the missed cues, the shortened shows. André himself has confessed. Some days, he feels like he's 100 years old. But to stop? That would mean giving up who he is. And André Rieu simply isn't ready for that. At home in Maastricht, far from the roaring applause of packed stadiums, André Rieu has discovered a quieter kind of joy. These days, it's not the spotlight that fuels him. It's the aroma of fresh pastries in the kitchen, the laughter of family dinners, and the tender sight of his young granddaughter Daisy practicing piano with the orchestra. The man who once toured across continents now finds comfort in the simple, sacred rhythms of home. The future may not echo the past in size or scale, but it still carries the heartbeat of André's legacy. Behind the curtain, the Rieu empire remains intact and thriving. His wife Marjorie, a musical force in her own right, continues to compose and guide the orchestra's artistic vision, quietly, humbly, without credit. His son Pierre, now the logistical genius of the organization, safeguards the brand and, more importantly, his father's well-being. And in a castle-turned-creative sanctuary, young Daisy may already be preparing to step into the spotlight, not by obligation, but by inheritance of love. Yet even with the joy around him, a gentle farewell seems to linger in the air. André often jokes that he'll play until he's 140, but even he knows the final curtain call can't be delayed forever. Still, if you've ever been moved by his music, if you've ever danced or wept to one of his waltzes, now is the time to celebrate him. Because André Rieu didn't just reinvent classical music, he made it feel like home. If André Rieu's story moved you, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow music lovers, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. Celebrate the legacy, honor the music, and keep the joy of waltz alive.